In this episode of Hope in Motion, Jim Rennie, CEO for Asian Aid USA, looks back on the past year and remembers the moments and the faces that gave him hope.
I was excited to go and meet Jyoti and to see how she had learned tailoring and how this class had made a real difference for her and her family, both by learning this skill to provide for her family and for income.
And a 15-year-old girl faces unimaginable trauma at the hands of sex traffickers.
I was told until I earned the money back, I wasn't allowed to leave. I cried for days. I wanted to run away, but there was security all around.
When we took her to the government home, she discovered that she was HIV positive and pregnant, 3 months pregnant, the same day.
Stay tuned for the dramatic season finale of Hope in Motion.
India is a land full of contrast. It's a land of great mystery and beauty. It's a land of unspeakable despair. But traveling through India, one thing is for sure. It's a land filled with people who should never be underestimated. For the last 40 years, Asian Aid has invested in the futures of people who have never been given such a chance, and their investment has proven infinite returns. Driven by the vision of Helen Eager, dedicated to helping those who have the least, Asian Aid is an organization implementing diverse development projects and sponsoring thousands of children. Their outreach spans from Bangladesh to Nepal, Sri Lanka, and beyond. From remote villages and empty fields to sprawling centers of education. From nothing to the unimaginable. Now, Asian Aid decided to document the work it has been doing all these years with a desire to show the world what is possible. By digging wells in remote villages for clean drinking water and bringing much-needed health care to the women of Nepal. By providing an education for orphans, deaf, and blind children, giving them a sense of place, a home. But what we really discovered was being given was hope. Giving hope to children, giving hope to women, giving hope to the ones who need it the most. This is Hope in Motion.
For the past 4 years, Jim Rennie has been serving the people of India and Nepal as the CEO for Asian Aid USA. Originally from Christchurch, New Zealand, Jim is currently living in the United States, but he travels back and forth to India several times a year. He's come to know firsthand the faces and personal stories of the people you've met through this series.
Back in 2010, Asian Aid made a decision that it should share the work that it has done in Southeast Asia, especially India. Asian Aid has helped thousands and thousands of children through sponsorship. It has helped the blind and the deaf and has supported many orphanages. This series was to show how Asian Aid has given so many children and so many communities real hope. Through our Hope in Motion series, we have been able to share with you how Asian Aid over the years is empowering women in some of the tribal villages of Andhra Pradesh. We are teaching them how to do business and coaching them in skills like tailoring and giving them a dignified livelihood so they can really take care of their families. We saw Jyoti narrate her story of hope because she was able to attend tailoring classes and the dreams she has for her family. Just a couple of months ago, I was excited to go and meet Jyoti and to see how she had learned tailoring and how this class had made a real difference for her and her family, both by learning this skill to provide for her family and for income. We saw stories coming out of our deaf school in Colligal, where one of our first students from the school is now working in a good job and is supporting his parents and disabled sister. We also met Pradeep, who was struggling with sign language when he arrived at the school. But the school, the staff and the students made him really feel at home. Staff like Shiny and her husband Jacob are making a real difference.
You get love. Money just comes and goes. It comes today, it goes tomorrow. But 100 students love, you won't earn it in your lifetime.
Volunteers are an integral part of our project work with Asian Aid. In the beginning of the last academic year, we had a young group called the Heartsight Group come from the United States and spend some time with the children at our School for the Blind in Bobbly. It was a huge blessing both for the blind children and the volunteers.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Miss you.
In the fourth episode, we met Sue Smith, an Asian Aid supporter, who along with her church members is doing their best to make the school at Vizianagaram a better place for their children. One of the schools that we are really proud of is the Emmanuel Adventist School at Jaipur. This school was a team effort from the start. It had the vision of Helen Eager, our founder, the support of Garwin McNeilis from the USA, and the building was built by Maranatha. This school caters to the tribal areas in Jaipur, including the Bonda tribe. We also saw how God's protection was at Jaipur during the riots that occurred.
I think sometimes God allows certain things to happen for good.
One of the things that really makes me happy is when I see Asian Aid children, after finishing their education, come back and work for us or work for one of the many schools where we have children. In our episode Give, we saw exactly that.
When I was born like a sighted person. When I have 3 years, that time I lost my eyes because of eye cancer.
Some of the most despairing stories come from the School for the Blind here in Bobbly. We witnessed the tragic story of Shankar, who lost both eyes because of cancer. It is amazing to see how he has lifted himself up and has a courageous outlook in life. This is only possible, again, because of the good leadership of the staff at the Bobbly Blind School, who go beyond the call of duty to make this place comfortable for children like Priyansu.
Whatever Christ has done on this earth, we the teachers have taken it up as a challenge to do our small little part.
This past year, our major project has been the building of the new home for the Sunrise children in Bobbly. For a long time, they had to put up with appalling conditions, which they all took in their stride, but they deserve something better. We are happy to provide a home for someone like Hannah and Joshua. It is also exciting for us when these children take a stand for Jesus and want to be baptized. Last year I was privileged to be a part of the baptism service where 30 of our children from Sunrise Home took baptism. Who can forget the story of Kirtana? We were at the home when she arrived. We saw the tears and the pain, and we had our doubts that she would last no more than a week. But within a week, she was a completely different person. She was happy and smiling. And recently I visited Elam Home and saw the difference that has been made. It's so exciting to see the difference that sponsorship is making with these children. A large part of our success goes to our field workers who carry out an important job and check to see if Asian Aid children are well and taken care of in their respective schools. Some of our field workers have to travel long distances to check on a school. We are so thankful for the work they do. Asian Aid's work in India began at Sunshine Home. Beulah Fernandez has given many years of service to the hundreds of children who have come through Sunshine Home and gone on to greater things. Her passion and her love for the children not only reflects her strong Christian ethic, but also reflects the work that Asian Aid is committed to.
It's encouraging to look back on the difference Asian Aid has made through the love and support of their donors. But looking forward, there is still more work to be done.
I was told until I earned the money back, I wasn't allowed to leave.
Girls, your ride's here. I love you. Have a good day at school. Bye. Bye.
See you tonight. Give my love to Mina.
I will. You can make a big difference every morning.
Sponsor a child with Asian Aid.
I'm here today in Andhra Pradesh, India, at the Vizianagaram School with my friend Adarsh, 7 years old. And my family and myself sponsor him. Every day he's able to have accommodation, food, clothes, and a good education. We want you to know what a blessing this is and that you too can make the difference in the life of a child every day through sponsorship.
Asian Aid's primary focus has always been providing education to poor and needy children through its sponsorship program, especially children from tribal areas, orphans, blind, and the speech and hearing impaired. In doing so, Asian Aid was confronted with many other pressing issues, one of those issues being human trafficking. It's estimated that human trafficking is a $32 billion industry worldwide, with Nepal and India being amongst the biggest contributors. Although women and girls are the most affected, boys and men are also subjected to forced labor and sexual exploitation. In 2010, Asian Aid partnered with a nonprofit organization called Oasis, enforcement and government agencies in Nepal and India to rescue girls who have been trafficked, and they also work with communities to prevent trafficking from happening.
We've been working with Oasis India for 2 years now on an anti-human trafficking program. The reason we work with Oasis India is because we believe in the mission of what they are doing. They are empowering young people to have opportunities that have been taken away from them. So they're restoring those opportunities. So Asian Aid are very proud to be in a partnership with Oasis.
Anita Kanaya is the Associate Executive Director for Oasis and has been with the organization for the past several years.
Asian Aid is funding a lot of our prevention-based work, which we do in local communities here, as the girls are vulnerable, very vulnerable over here. They also fund our rescues. So yes, we are very, very happy to have met Asian Aid and to partner with them in this work.
Anita works with a team of dedicated staff who conduct dangerous undercover operations to rescue girls who've either been kidnapped or coerced into slave-like conditions.
There's a lot of nexus between the traffickers and the underworld. Sometimes it's law enforcement as well that supports these traffickers because there's a lot of money. We have on many occasions been chased or followed as we return from raids or rescues because the police don't accompany us when we finish the raid or rescue. They're there before it but not after. So we have been followed, we have received threatening phone calls, we have been aggressively stopped from entering into establishments where girls are being hidden.
Geetha Prabhu is a social worker from Oasis and is regularly involved in these dangerous rescue missions. As a result, she often gets to know the victims of human trafficking firsthand.
There are so many girls are left vulnerable, and my heart is there for them, that I should do much more for them, and that they should come out of that vulnerability, and they should realize even they can stand on their feet and they can lead their life.
With a booming economy and growing population in India's cities, human trafficking has been on the rise in the red light districts and beyond. In recent years, the average age of girls being trafficked has gotten even younger.
Well, the age group is getting younger now. So I think when I first started work about 7 or 8 years ago, the average age of girls being trafficked was around 17, 18. But now we have cases of 8 and 9-year-olds. So I would say the average age has lowered to about 12 to 15 now of girls being trafficked. I think the demand is more for younger girls.
Younger girls are easier prey for traffickers. Not really understanding the outside world makes them even more vulnerable in many ways. The majority of victims come from low-income backgrounds with little or no education. Many of them are lured with the promise of getting a better job or a chance to go to school.
My name is Shishila. I'm a seamstress. I'm 20 years old. I was 15 years old and was in 7th grade when my parents married me off.
The Sushila's story is like many of the others that we found at that time. She's from a village near Kolar district, in Kolar district. Her parents tried to marry her off as a child bride. So she wasn't 15 years when her parents tried to get her married. And they married her, and she ran away from there, from her husband's place, and came back home. And they married her off again, and the second time to another person. And she ran back the second time. And she was very interested in studies, so she was a good student in the local school, but they wouldn't have that. And the third time when they were trying to get her married is when a friend from the village told her about a job here, and that she was working in a garment industry in Bangalore, and that she'd help her to find a job.
सुबह 5 बजे मैं उधर से निकल गई.
We decided to run away from the village to either work or study. When we were at the bus stop, a lady befriended us. She said she would give us work in the city, and she would take us to Bangalore, but we refused her offer. We were about to leave from there when she laid her hands on our shoulders. We don't know what happened. We started following her. It was like she hypnotized us. She took us to a hotel and gave us cool drinks. The drinks were spiked, and we felt all of our senses going numb. We were in a bus, and that's all I remember. The next thing I know, we were in Mumbai.
There was a period of time when almost all the girls who were rescued would say, we came looking for a job, we met this lady in the bus stand, she offered us a drink, and we don't remember anything else, we've turned up in Mumbai. So many of them would have the same story.
Sushila had been sold to a pimp in the red light districts of Mumbai for 150,000 rupees, or about $3,000.
I was told until I earned the money back, I wasn't allowed to leave. I cried for days. I wanted to run, but there was security all around. I was in that place for 11 months. We had no outside communication. There were many girls like me, about 50 of them, and some were much younger than I was.
When these village girls are first taken to these places, they are literally broken. Their whole psyche is broken by pimps, and they take a long time to recover from something like that. They're abused, they are whipped, they are beaten, they are bitten. The kind of things that they go through, they're not fed properly. So many of them, you'll see malnutrition, very bad dental hygiene. All of these, they suffer with a lot of health issues, but a lot of psychological traumatic issues as well.
Sushila was subjected to sexual and physical abuse for nearly a year.
After I had been there for 11 months, a man from Bangalore came to me as a client. When he came into my room, he told us who he really was, and we begged him to help us. He had hidden a mobile phone with him, and he handed it over to me and my friend so we could call the police.
She was rescued when we went on an operation to rescue somebody else. And she happened to be in that brothel and pleaded with us to take her out, and she was brought out. When we took her to the government home, she discovered that she was HIV positive and pregnant, 3 months pregnant, the same day.
When I first heard about it, I thought I was going to die. I didn't have good information about AIDS at the time, and I didn't want to live. But the people in the rehabilitation center counseled me not to take drastic steps.
Once a victim has been rescued, they face an onslaught of challenges to regain their footing. Victims of human trafficking are more likely to develop post-traumatic stress disorder, drug addictions, depression, and sexually transmitted diseases.
Once the girl has been raped or spoiled or has indulged in any kind of a sexual contact, then she is known as a spoiled good. And the traffickers are using that. They rape some of the girls, and then because the parents don't want to show it, the girl can't come out of it, she's like a spoiled good, then they come and offer something to the parents who anyway want to get rid of the girl because it's so shameful that this happened, and they send her away. So virginity and the importance that the Indian culture has placed on it has also placed a huge burden on the Indian girls in terms of what happens to them and how they come out of it.
Feeling as if they have no other options, some women return to sex work or resort to suicide. This is where Asian Aid and Oasis work together to provide the necessary medical care as well as counseling services. In addition, they teach the women a trade such as sewing, which gives them an alternate way of making money.
We are focused on creating communities that will ensure that there is trust and there is cohesion and that people are loved and accepted and that they have a support group when they come out of situations like trafficking.
Sushila was put on retroviral drugs to treat her HIV, and although it's been over 5 years since her ordeal in Mumbai, she continues to go on with her life. She attended tailoring classes and is now earning a living as a seamstress.
Not only the Sushila's case that we have seen today and we have gone through, it's like thousands of girls like Sushila. Girls are very vulnerable, they don't have help, and we are trying to reach out. I don't hope that I can reach out for thousands of girls, but at least in a year, I'm sure that I have reached on 300 girls. In a year, I'll make sure that 300 girls have reached, but still I'm not satisfied.
Asian Aid continues to help children through sponsorship, while also expanding their reach to help end human trafficking in India and Nepal. It is their dream that you too will join them in putting hope in motion.